Hey there, my name is Bogdan. In our studio we challenge many smartphones for such a subtle but important thing as performance. There's no way to test it without significant loads on the hardware, which contributes into an active heat dissipation in chipsets and respectively drops in their performance. So I thought, what tricks do developers use to maintain the healthy state of smartphone's heart, saving at least a fracture of its speed? Would you find it interesting? Me? Definitely. Of course, the absence of critical flaws of engineering and more or less proper software are very important. But today's video is all about cooling the hot spots of our phones. I'll immediately cast aside Mother Nature, as here we'll pass by the impact of mighty wings or the fresh state of breath. The first obvious answer to the question what do you need to fight the heat is actually nothing at all, that is, without additional means. Because everybody knows what throttling is, the chipset itself detects time when it needs to slow down and skips some operation strokes, not allowing the temperature to rise even higher but at the same time reducing the work performance. The latter is not the most pleasant thing, but at least you know that your device won't burn out. In fact, the main task in cooling of modern chipsets is not much in protection against self-ignition, but delaying the moment when the system jumps into slowdown. One of the easiest and cheapest ways to solve overheating problem is to use proper body material. For example, metal is known for the highest thermal conductivity and heat transfer compared with glass, ceramics, and especially plastic. Sooner or later, the released heat reaches much cooler walls of the body. Of course, the hands will feel the care and warmth of your favorite smartphone faster, however the processor will get to its boiling point a bit later. As a result, I can say that buying a phone with an aluminum or steel back will already secure your pocket pad with such primitive or rather passive, but at least some kind of protection against overheating. But somebody might refuse waiting until the semi-melted chipset crawls into the rear and starts making barbecue of your hands. Still, it's desirable to prevent such reactions from the inside. And the first born with an attempt to cool its inner world was the smartphone of the company NEC Medias with the X or 10 N06E in 2013. They used a thermal copper tube stretching from the chipset along the body. I wish Zach Nelson from Jerry Rig Everything paid at least a bit of his attention to this model, because there's no teardown of its cooling system that I can show you. That's why we'll take a look on something from modern age. For it was exactly year 2018 when more powerful cooling systems became especially popular in smartphones. Well, progress doesn't stand still, and up-to-date mobile processors work so fast that it seemed they strive to jump right out of the body. And now the mentioned heat pipe appeared in prominent Pocophone F1. The whole process begins with a heat transfer from a chipset through the thermal interface to the tube, where teeny tiny amount of liquid turns into a vapor. It starts filling up the tube, thereby giving out and dissipating heat. Ultimately, the gas condenses on the further cold sections of tube walls. The resultant liquid travels back in the direction of the processor in a capillary way with help of such fibers. Non-believers may argue forever, but such simple scheme proves itself, as benchmark test results do not lie. By the way, I'll show them to you soon. Pocophone F1 is not afraid walking on a hot coal, even though some of its specs are not so shiny. This is not a masterpiece. Phone looks like plastic POS. As for Samsung, they take much more care about their offspring. On the contrast to the same copper tube in Galaxy S9 Plus, they've got real copper shield for Galaxy Note 9 and mentioned about carbon fiber for quicker heat transfer. But there's a thing, Jerry rigged everything in that phablet too and noted that fibers are not carbon, but the same copper. However, the system's got the name water carbon cooling. What we can say is that Galaxy Note 9 shown higher performance comparing to S9 Plus, but doesn't brought less heat to our hands. And what if games or heavy apps are the vital part of your life, if the first half an hour in PUBG Mobile goes like a warm-up for your thumbs? Besides, it's Diablo Immortal coming soon. It is when smartphone for gamers come to the rescue, with more pumped-up cooling systems. Let's take for example Razer Phone 2 that keeps it cool with a vapor chamber inside. Essentially, there is a white copper plate where the liquid, this time in much greater amount, repeats the life circle, kinda like in the pipe. But this time, due to a wider contact area, the benefit from heat dissipation grows at least twice. Plus, you may feel noticeably less point heating from the processor side of the body. And almost like a vulture from Spider-Man with a fence on his wings, Asus ROG Phone obtained seemingly the most sophisticated hardware support system. In fact, there are even two of them. I have no complaints to Aero Active Removable Cooler. This thing is so gorgeous that even your hands will feel way comfortable with it. What I'm not sure about is the whole game cool system. The thing is in its relatively low efficiency while having such an impressive facility. On the internet, one dug dug deeper to reveal the so-called 3D vapor chamber in the smartphone, which, according to description of similar computer systems, should have heat sinking tubes in order to assist the copper plate. Their presence is unlikely, hence the question how this chamber is different from the one we saw in Razer Phone 2. Moving on, there's a copper heat spreader and a carbon cooling pad that in pair with the vapor chamber surprisingly are attached to the circuit board from the side of the screen. These additional components look incredibly bold and reliable. In my opinion, they must maximize process of the heat exchange and overall heat spreading. But take a look over here. Honestly, it would be great to have temperature figures for ROG Phone performance without aero-active cooler better than some of those presented smartphones, as now I highly doubt the need of those stuffing that I was talking about before. Frankly speaking, word 3D in the name of ROG Phone's cooling system is just an attempt to describe the triple teamwork of its components. It's hardly possible to explain this in some other way. Summing up, manufacturers managed to compactly fit quite massive coolers inside the smartphones, and it resulted mostly for the best. If you love to spend your free time with heavy mobile games, my advice is to buy smartphones with one of recently mentioned cooling systems, or at least something in metal body. Well, personally for me this topic is clear, and for you I hope this video was both useful and fun to watch. Can't wait to see way more weird cooling system decisions in 2019. Of course, if you've got something to add or share your point of view, you're welcome to do so in comments down below. And if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe and ring the bell to stay tuned for more cool content. My thanks for watching and cheers!